Today I am going to read a chapter from my science book, and the chapter's name is Plant Adaptations. So let's get started. Learning checklist: plant adaptations, aquatic, terrestrial, insectivores, non-green, parasitic. Let's get started. Plants can be seen growing at all places. Look at the following pictures and use the words given in the box to fill in the blanks. Wild plants are found in forests. Cacti are found in deserts. Lotus plants are found in ponds. Ornamental plants are found in gardens. The place where an organism naturally lives is called its habitat. The special features acquired by an organism to adjust itself in a habitat are called adaptations. In this chapter, we will learn about different adaptations shown by plants. Plants adaptations. Different kinds of plants grow in different places. These plants adapt certain features to survive in their habitat. According to the habitat they grow in, plants can be broadly grouped into two categories: aquatic plants and terrestrial plants. Aquatic plants. Plants that grow and live in water are called aquatic plants. The following figure shows the different types of aquatic plants. Floating plants, duckweed, water hyacinth. Emergent plants, moss, bulrush, sedge, arrowhead. Fixed plants, lotus, white water lily. Underwater plants, Alodia, Hydrilla, Vallisneria. Emergent plants. These plants are fixed to the shallow waterbed, but the leaves and stems extend out of the surface of the water body they are growing in. Hence, these plants are called emergent plants. Examples of emergent plants are bulrush, cattle, arrowhead, and sedge. Bulrush, sedge. The following adaptations are seen in these plants. These plants are usually tall. These plants usually have long, narrow leaves. Long and narrow leaves provide less resistance to strong water currents and wind, and hence prevent damage. The stem of these plants are usually tough and hollow. Due to this, the plants do not get destroyed even in strong winds. Fixed plants. These plants are fixed to the waterbed with the help of strong roots. Hence, they are called fixed plants. Examples are lotus and water lily. Lotus, water lily. Word web, stalk, a thin stem that supports the leaves and flowers of a plant. The following adaptations are seen in these plants. These plants have thin, long stalks that coil and uncoil according to the level of the water. Leaves are broad and have waxy coating to prevent them from getting wet. These plants have stomata on the upper side of the leaf. These plants absorb nutrients from the soil through their roots. Underwater plants. These plants grow completely under the water. Hence, they are also called submerged plants. Examples are Hydrilla, Vallisneria, and pondweed. The following adaptations are seen in these plants. These plants have thin, narrow, ribbon-like leaves to prevent them from getting torn by the force of water currents. The leaves of underwater plants do not have stomata, but they take in carbon dioxide from the water through their body surface. These plants do not bear flowers. These plants get nutrients through the roots from the soil in the waterbeds. These plants support animal life to a great extent because they give out oxygen during photosynthesis, which keeps the aquatic animals alive. Hydrilla, Vallisneria, pondweed. Floating plants. Plants that float on water are called floating plants. Examples are duckweed, water lettuce, and water hyacinth. Duckweed, water lettuce. The following adaptations are seen in these plants. These plants float on water because either they have air filled inside the stems, for example, water hyacinth, or they are very small and light in weight, for example, duckweed. The roots of the floating plants hang in water and absorb nutrients directly from the water. Revise and recall. State whether the following statements are true or false. Water lettuce floats on water. True. Sedges are fixed in water and hence are called fixed plants. False. Fixed plants have stomata on the upper side of their leaves. True. Duckweed is an example of emergent plants. Emergent plant. False. The arrowhead plants have leaves and stems emerging out of the water surface. True. Terrestrial plants. Plants that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. Terrestrial plants grow in deserts, mountains and hills, plains, marshy areas, forests, coastal areas, etc. Plants in deserts. Desert plants are also called xerophytes. They are adapted to grow in a very hot and dry conditions. Examples of plants that grow in deserts are cacti such as prickly pear and date palms. The following adaptations are seen in these plants. Growing in a desert. The stem of a cactus is green, thick and fleshy. This helps the plant to collect and store water. It performs the function of photosynthesis. The leaves of these plants are modified into spines. Spines protect the plants and reduce water loss. These plants are also have long roots that grow deep into the ground. They help in absorbing groundwater. A cactus growing in a desert. Wide web. Spines. Sharp pointed structures on a plant. Science in context. Saguaro is a type of cactus found in deserts. It can live up to 200 years and can store up to 800 liters of water. Plants on mountains and hills. Plants on mountains and hills are adapted to grow in very cold temperatures. Examples of such plants are pine, kedar, spruce and fir. The following adaptations are seen in these plants. The trees are long, straight, tall and cone-shaped so that the snow can slide easily off their branches. Their leaves have a waxy coating and are needle-shaped, which helps the snow to slide off and prevents rotting of the plant. These plants have cones with seeds instead of flowers. Plants in plains. These plants are adapted to survive in varying climates of both hot and cold weather. Examples of plants that grow in plains are mango, banyan and teak. The following adaptations are seen in these plants. They have many branches with plenty of leaves and flowers. Some trees shed their leaves in autumn which grow back again during spring. Such trees are called deciduous trees. Some trees shed their leaves and grow new ones throughout the year. Such trees are called evergreen trees. Plants in marshy areas. Marshy areas are places that have wet, clay and sticky soil with water covering their surface. The plants growing in such areas develop roots that emerge out from the surface of the marsh. These roots help the plant to breathe. Hence, they are called breathing roots. Most of the plants that grow in marshy areas are called mangroves. Some examples are Avicennia and Rhizophora. Plants in forests. Forests usually have warm climates and get a lot of rain throughout the year. The plants that grow in forests grow tall with broad and abundant leaves which can capture maximum sunlight for the photosynthesis. Examples of plants that grow in forests are redwood, mahogany, maple, and oak. Plants in coastal areas. Plants that grow in coastal areas usually grow tall and straight. They are adapted to survive in conditions of salty water and heavy rainfall. An example is a coconut tree. Insectivores plants. Some plants live in a habitat where the soil is poor in nutrients. Some plants also grow in thick forests where enough sunlight is not available to carry out photosynthesis. These plants feed on small insects for nutrition. Hence, they are called insectivorous plants. Some examples are pitcher plant and Venus flytrap. Wonder, there are about 600 types of carnivorous plants found in all over the world except in Antarctica. Insectivorous plants show uncommon features that help them to catch their prey. The Venus flytrap has two lobes with hair like spikes on their edges. These lobes snap shut when an insect sits on it. The pitcher plant is shaped like a pitcher. Its edge secretes a slippery substance due to which the insect sitting on its slip and fall inside the pitcher, thus getting trapped. Non-green plants. Some plants do not contain the green pigment chlorophyll, called non-green plants. These plants are adapted to absorb their food from dead plants and animals. Examples are caloot and Indian pipe. Parasitic plants. There are certain plants that depend on other plants partially or completely for their nutrition. They grow on other plants and absorb nutrients from the other plants. Such plants are called parasitic plants. They often harm the plants on which they grow. Examples are cuscuta and mistletoe. Revise and recall. Write an example for each of the following: desert plant, cactus plant, mountain plant, pine tree, plant in plains, mango tree, plant in marshes, mangroves, insectivorous plant, pitcher plant. Go green. Walk through a park or a garden carefully. Tramping on small plants might kill them. Keywords: habitat, the place where an organism naturally lives. Adaptation, the special features acquired by an organism to adjust itself in a habitat. Aquatic plants, plants that grow and live in water. Terrestrial plants, plants that grow on land. Xerophytes, plants that grow in deserts. Breathing roots, the roots developed by the plants growing in marshes which emerge out from the surface of the marsh. Insectivorous plants, plants that trap insects for obtaining nutrients. Parasitic plants, plants that grow on other plants and absorb nutrients from them. Summary: types of plants based on habitat: aquatic plants, terrestrial plants, insectivorous plants, parasitic plants. Aquatic plants, emergent plants. Adaptations: tall, long, narrow leaves, tough and hollow stem. Both leaves and stem extend out of water. Examples: bulrush and sedge. Fixed plants. Adaptations: thin, long stalks, broad and waxy leaves, stomata on the upper side of the leaf, roots fixed to the soil. Examples: lotus and water lily. Underwater plants. Adaptations: thin, narrow, ribbon-like leaves, no stomata, do not bear flowers. Examples: hydrilla and Vallisneria. Floating plants. Adaptations. Airy stems, lightweight. Examples: water lettuce and duckweed. Terrestrial plants. Plants in deserts. Adaptations: thick and fleshy stem, leaves modified into spine, long roots. Examples: cacti and date palms. Plants in mountains and hills. Adaptations: long, tall, cone-shaped trees, waxy leaves, cones with seeds instead of flowers. Examples: pine and kedar. Plants in plains. Adaptations: plenty of leaves and flowers, shedding of leaves in autumn throughout the year, and growth of new leaves. Examples: mango and banyan. Plants in marshy areas. Adaptations: breathing roots. Examples: Avicennia and Rhizophora. Plants in forests. Adaptations: broad and abundant leaves. Examples: redwood and oak. Plants in coastal areas. Adaptations: tall and straight. Example: coconut. Insectivores plants. Adaptations: uncued features to catch insects. Example: lobes, hair like spikes, and Venus flytrap. Non-green plants. Adaptations: absence of chlorophyll, absorb food from dead plants and animals. Example: Indian pipe. Parasitic plants. Adaptations: grow on other plants and absorb food from these plants. Example: Cascata. So friends, I hope you like the video. Please subscribe our channel, and thanks for watching. Until then, goodbye.